Good evening and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include Tourism Dinner, Lions Lioness Awards Night and the BDDB Report. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
This is Cliff Chatterton of the War Amps. I've known Megan since she was 3.
This is your new swimming arm. This is the sport hand that goes with it. Okay?
She was enrolled in Champ after a terrible car crash cost her an arm. Show kids you care. Be a part of the War Amps Drive Safe campaign.
Drive safe.
On Friday, November the 23rd, the Tourism Committee held its first tourism dinner. The evening began with a meet and greet at 6:30 p.m. Guests had an opportunity to talk with the Tourism Committee, out-of-town guests, and to look at the displays that consist of items made by local crafters. There were wood products, photos, crocheted items, and handmade children's garments. MC for the evening, Dr. Barbara Barter, welcomed everyone and he introduced the dignitaries.
I would like to begin by noting the dignitaries sitting at the front tables. And although I called their names for the tables, that's all it was a name called for the tables. So I will now call upon them individually to point out who they are. Minister Kevin Aylward, who's our guest speaker, is the NHA for the Stephenville area. Minister Aylward. Our own Minister, Kelly Parsons. And of course, our own Mayor, Alistair Hand. Mr. John Grant. John is chair of the BDDB, Diversification Development Board. Mr. Lloyd Pernell. Lloyd is Festival Coast Tourism Association. And Mr. Jim Pink, chair of the Virgil Tourism Committee.
Mayor Hand brought greetings from the town. Jim Pink, chairperson of the Virgil Tourism Committee, also brought greetings and welcomed everyone. The salmon dinner was delicious and appreciated by everyone. Following the dinner, John Grant, chairperson of the BDDB, brought greetings and congratulated the Virgil Tourism Committee on a successful evening. Festival Coast Tourism Association chairperson, Mr. Lloyd Arlum, gave an overview of some of the activities the FCTA was involved in. The Honourable Kevin Aylward, Minister of Department of Tourism, Culture and Recreation, was the guest speaker for the evening.
1985 really is a good starting point this evening. And to Jim Pink and his work that he's been doing, and also to getting his tourism committee off the ground, I congratulate you for taking it on and your group. And Lloyd Arlen, it was good to hear those remarks about working together in our Southwest Coast corner to make things happen in tourism. And this evening, I just want to take a few minutes to just go over where we're trying to go, and just to say this evening that I'm going to let the pictures do some talking in a few minutes. I think pictures are worth 1,000 words, as they say, and what we wanted to do this evening was do a quick overview, show you some of the ads that we're running in different markets in Ontario, the Maritimes, Alberta, New England markets, pictures that we're trying to use to attract people to their property. We've had some success in that for the last 3 or 4 years. As you know, there's been a lot of success in getting the attention of people. We've also been doing some of the special celebrations, such as the Viking year, and we've been seeing a profile internationally of the province. Those types of events have worked to a point, but we're now going to switch gears and we're going to get into more aggressive marketing of our province. And some of the ads you're going to see could easily be Virgil area and kayaking that you see. A few weeks ago I turned on one of the cable stations and there was a show on. It was was done here a few years ago. It was a show of a kayak event going on of the Virgil area. And I was talking earlier to Kevin Strickland here from France Way. And I was talking about the fact that they did a website up just a little while ago. And they had, was it last year, I think? They had 5,000 hits last year on the website. Cruise ship industry, cruise ship Lillivant came on this year. I was on that cruise ship this summer on the south coast by invitation. We didn't come down this coast, we went down the other coast. But the cruise ship industry is an example. Now I'm going to let this in just a second now. Yeah, the cruise ship industry itself is a great opportunity for us here in the future in the Virgil area and the south coast. And the mayor, he made a comment earlier about talking about transportation and tourism getting together to make this happen, so that we have the next purchasing of ferry systems that we get into in the near future. I'm sure Calvin Parsons is going to feel the same way, that we need to put in place a system that will work for tourists also in a big way and make it attractive. So those are issues that we got to think about now. And also one of the other issues, again, is transportation to our province and making sure that the Marine Atlantic Ferry works better and makes it work for us. And it's serving us in the proper way. And again, Kelvin's been very effective in helping make that happen with his representations around the cabinet table and to the federal government. And we're continuing to work on that issue in a major way. Award-winning ads that are being shown around the world. This one could be Virgil. Whales, kayaks. Icebergs in a circle. Sorry to put back into the globe there, but just to say that these ads are getting major attention. We're going to be doing more of the West Coast, this West Coast area is an area we're going to concentrate on big time for year-round tourism coming up. That's what we're going to be working on. And we'd like to work with you and your committee. You have a lot to offer. You have a great product here, and we've just got integrated into the market. We have 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. If you look at Ghost Morning, look at Lanson Meadows, but they've got to come here, and we've got to promote on the highway through signage and through marketing what you have. And it can mean a lot in the future. The cruise ship industry on the South Coast is going to be starting to be developed. We'd like these communities to get involved right along the coast. And we together work on those issues. This industry is going to have a life here. And we just want to say this evening that we're looking forward to working with you on that and seeing more articles. One of the things that we do right now is we bring in tourism writers, film writers. The film corporation is now part of our mandate. Film people are looking for locations. People who are writing magazines about kayaking or whatever it would be. We can bring some of those people through here, through the Southwest Coast. And we intend on doing that in the near future. So,
Our MHA, Calvin Parsons, acknowledged the fine job the Virgin Tourism Committee has done organising the dinner. He also spoke about how tourism could benefit our town. At approximately 9 p.m., Jeff Quilty, Joe Kosser, and Owen Marsden provided some entertainment. Everyone agreed that the evening was a grand success. Congratulations to the Burgeo Tourism Committee. On Saturday, November the 24th, the Lions held their 29th annual awards night. MC King Lion Roger and welcomed everyone, and the celebrations got underway with the singing of O Canada, the Lions Invocation, a moment of silence for deceased lions, lioness, and Leos, toast to the Queen, the ladies, and the Lions toast. Past King Lion Ron said the blessing over the hot roast beef supper. While the guests were enjoying their dessert and tea, MC Roger introduced the Ed Table guest.
We'll now the introduction of the Ed Table. Starting from my far left, S.O.N. Would you all remain standing, please? Mayor Ann, Donna Parsons, MHA Honorable Kelvin Parsons, Ed Crocker, our District Governor Joy Crocker, Past President Lion Ron, Liz Bush Shirley, our Lioness Association President June Flynn, Past President Lioness Edie, Lioness Liaison Jim, my wife Ann, Acting Lioness President Doris Pink, and her husband Lion Max Pink. Ladies and gentlemen, the Red Table.
Mayor Ann brought greetings from the town. Past Lioness President Edie Marsden gave their year-in report. Lioness Marjorie Ann gave an overview of the Lions Club, since this is their 25th anniversary. Guest speaker for the evening was District Governor Joy Crocker. Lioness Liaison Jim Marsden presented the 7 charter members of the Lioness with their 25th anniversary jacket. Congratulations to Alice Kosser, Sheila Ingram, Edith Marsden, Marjorie Ann, Diane Kendall, Margaret Ann, and Barbara Porter. Lioness Association President June Flynn had a few surprises for the Lioness. Best Secretary for this district 2000-2001 went to Marjorie Ann. Best President was awarded to Edith Marsden, and the Lions Club of Burgeo was considered the best Lions Club for this district. Needless to say, the ladies were quite surprised. Lioness Marlene Batcher presented 25-year pins and flowers to the 7 charter members. Our MHA Kelvin Parsons presented Acting Lioness President Doris Pink with a plaque celebrating their 25th year of Lionism. Past King Lion Ron Green gave out plaques to Max Billard, Lion Tamer, Tony Bungie Tail Twister, Board of Directors Max Pink and Clayton Ingram, and Secretary Norman Strickland. A plaque was also awarded to Ron Green for his service as President of the Lions Club for 2000-2001. The top award, Lion of the Year, went to Lion Max Billard. Lion Ron concluded with thanks to all his committee members for their help and dedication. Lioness members were presented with 100% attendance awards. The evening concluded with the singing of Ode to Newfoundland. A dance followed. Congratulations to all who received awards and to the Lioness Club for their 25 years of service in this community. Stay tuned for more of this Week in Review coming up after this.
In West Africa, when rain is scarce, crops fail, forcing rural people to move to cities in search of a means to provide for their families. With the help of USC Canada, villagers in northern Mali are fighting the pressure to leave with projects focused on market gardens, small credit schemes, and improved soil conservation methods. Help the people of Mali fight back against desertification and drought. Support USC Canada today.
During the awards night, past President of the Lioness, Edith Marsden, presented their year-in report. The Lioness would like to present this report to the community to give them some idea of what their funds were used for and the activities they are involved in.
And our work we did last year thank Marjorie very, very much for having this already booked. In September, $200 to 2 residents for medical expenses, $50 to the Harris CMP bicycle rodeo, $100 to CFCB radiothon for the Worcester Memorial Hospital equipment, 2 parts to Terry Parks Run, and gave a donation of $24. Gave a gift to one of our members who was leaving town. Sent a friendship card to one of our former members whose husband was battling cancer. Held a potluck dinner for members. I visited the DGO in St. Anthony. We held a TV bingo. Wrote letter to our foster child. In October, we sponsored a TV bingo for Girl Guides, the Lions and Lionesses, a hot beef dinner, car games, and a dance for seniors on World Lions Day. Delivered fruit baskets to the sick and shut-ins. 2 of the members spent a joyous weekend at Doris Pink's cabin. Held a Halloween potluck dinner for the community. Canvassed the town for CNIB. We visited the hospital, played bingo, and served lunch to the residents. Attended a volunteer appreciation dessert party for each member and took a hug to the gift shop. Gave $100 to a resident to offset medical expense. And the highlight of our meeting was when Lloyd and Jim presented us with the trophy to Sheila Hingham for Best Secretary for the year, Alice Castle for the Best President. We also won the trophy for the Best Club in 41 S1. We also won the travel trophy from DGO in St. Anthony. Very exciting time. In November, we corresponded with our foster child. We attended memorial service and placed a wreath at the memorial site on November the 11th. Lauren is Sylvia Coster, chairperson for the Health and Welfare, visited and took a fruit basket to our liaison guy while he was sick. Sponsored ticket sale for a student going to Quebec. Gave $25 to St. John's Central Hall and AJ Matthews School for a snack program. $200 for 2 residents for medical expenses. We attended a joint awards night with Lions on November 25th. $200 for 2 residents of medical expenses. $25 to Lung Association. December, we gave $25 to Mental Health Association, $25 to CNIB, $25 to the Anglican Church towards their Christmas hamper, $200 to 2 residents for medical expense, sold tickets on a Christmas hamper, held a Christmas sale of crafts and baked goods, held a membership Christmas party and exchanged gifts, took handicapped people to La Chateau for dinner. The memberships visited Colorado Healthcare Center for an evening of entertainment. We handed a float in the Santa Claus Parade. In January, we hosted our seniors party for Lions on January 5th, served a hot turkey dinner, dessert followed by a card game and dance. Also a visit from Santa who gave a gift to all seniors. $100 to residents for medical expenses. $100 for our AJ Matthews Scholarship Fund. $600 to Lions for the building. $25 to Spondivia. Our ladies double stairs. In February, we held our Valentine potluck for community, TV bingo. Linus visited a food bank for the community. In March, we held TV bingo to raise money to purchase 3 TVs for our acute care ward for the Colorado Healthcare Center. Giant was search and rescue throughout the Skidoo ride and shared after the proceeds took $814.42. Gave gifts to the hospital for bingo, $25 to Spondivia, $25 to Gordier's granddaughter, $1,000 to Madison's camp. In April, gave $600 to Lions towards up to the building, $25 to Red Cross, $25 to Cancer Society, $25 to Lions Yearly Directory, $5 for registration with Berger Tourism, held Prince class with ticket sales, held bingo for Prince class, sent friendship card to Jim, a former member, held ladies mixed doubles, $25 for trophy fund for cadets, sold daffodils for Cancer Society. In May, we corresponded with our foster child, visited our present Linus Dita, who took flowers, brought home, recuperated from surgery, visited hospital, played bingo and served lunch, gave $37 to Canine Vision of Canada, $25 to diabetes, attended Lions 29th Charter Night on May 26th, no TV bingo, sold tickets on a food hamper. In June, we gave $100 for Janeway Telethon, Gave $200 to residents for medical expenses. Catered to the hand-insured women for their clothing. We'll be doing at-eat dinner in July as part of Salmon Sea Festival. Closing was on the 14th, June 14th, with Lions catering to a steak dinner for us. We gave $50 to a student going to Japan. That was to see the day. And that is our year-end report.
Greg Illiard, our BDDB officer, stopped by our studio on Thursday for our monthly update. In our studio with us today we have Greg Illiard, our BDDB officer. Welcome, Greg.
Thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure to stop in and chat to you about things going on with the BDDB.
Really enjoy chatting, actually. Well, let's get started. The first thing is the joint meeting with the Town Council.
Yeah, the board felt that with the election that took place in September, and of course there was a number of new councillors that were elected to serve the community, we felt that it was time for the BDDB to meet with council and kind of outline to them a number of different initiatives and priorities that we have presently on the table, as well as potentially in the near future, and just get council's feelings on how they felt about the whole development issue and how it related to the BDDB, and of course the working relationship between our board and town council. And I must say the meeting proved to be very fruitful. We gave them an overview and presentation of the various different initiatives that we have ongoing right now, and of course we addressed a number of concerns both in relationship to town council and the BDDB. And I think it was a very worthwhile meeting from both parties' perspective. We got the opportunity to put different things on the table, find out exactly where council was coming from, some of their priorities, and of course vice versa in terms of where the board was to. And it was agreed at the end of the night that it was a very fruitful meeting, and that what we would wind up doing is basically every 6 months is have a joint meeting, inform council of our ongoing initiatives, because as you know, some of the things we're involved in are of a confidential nature, and you can't really put all the information on the table. But if we have the opportunity to have regular joint meetings, it certainly informs council that much more what's happening. So from this point on, we feel that you know, our working relationship is certainly enhanced and stronger, I think, and as long as we keep the lines of communications open between council and the BDDB, we'll be able to move forward and benefit the community at the end of the day.
Very good. The status of the Barry Group proposal.
Yeah, as everybody is well aware, Mr. Barry and his company put a proposal to, you know, the BDDB, council, and FFAW, as well as to our minister, the MHA, in regards to looking at the seal tannery. And over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've had the opportunity to meet with our MHA on a number of occasions to find out exactly what the status of his proposal is. He informs me the latest information is that Jerry Reid, Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, has been meeting with industry partners around the province. Obviously, it's a bigger picture than just saying, yes, Mr. Barry, go ahead and do your thing, and we're going to give you licenses, and we're going to let you do this. Obviously, there is sensitivity in what's happening in places like Dildo, who've been involved in this industry for 40, 50 years, and Carino. And obviously, the minister has to ensure that there's not going to be no major competitive impact, and of course any existing partners in the industry are not going to be adversely affected. So he's been in the process of doing that for a couple of weeks. We understand in talking to the minister now that they're hoping to have something on the table in terms of potentially a policy change sometime in the early part of the new year. As everybody knows, Christmas is coming up. December is a pretty hectic time as it is, but it does take some time, as I mentioned to one individual one day. It's a situation where, yes, government can change policy. However, they have to do it legally and legitimately. And when you're talking about a major policy change in terms of only, garment-ready seals leave this province, it might sound simple to me and you, but the legalities that might get wrapped up in that obviously has to go through Department of Justice and other areas. So there is a process to be followed. There's no doubt that we would like to see something move, early in the new year, possibly in the spring, so we don't lose all the next year. And I think, our MHA is very sensitive to that issue, and certainly will be moving it forward in regards to Mr. Reid. I know that he has done his work already in terms of meeting with the industry partners, and now it's just a process to follow through in terms of government and legalities and in terms of competitive impact is probably the biggest issue overall. How is it going to affect the industry as a whole in this province? I don't think anybody's concerned with, doing the tanning to get the garment or to get the seals, if you want, to the garment-ready stage in this province. It's just like the fishery.
Okay.
I mean, government has passed that policy a number of years ago. So I think there's like motherhood and apple pie, but again, it's a situation where they have to work through the process. We feel very confident at the end of the day. I think when Mr. Barry put it on the table, I think he's very sincere about it, and I think he's willing to move it forward. And I know there was a couple of town councillors that actually visited the plant up in Catalina, very impressed with the overall operation. We did have concerns that, what are we going to get involved in, but it certainly became obvious that they're overcapacitated in Catalina, and definitely the way Mr. Barry is approaching it with his markets and that there is major potential there.
Okay. Well, that's always a positive sign. The linkage program.
Yeah, I noted at the last time that we met that we are the sponsor of a linkages program through Human Resources and Employment. We have hired a coordinator, which is Claude Epinite, to oversee the actual program for us. And I'm pleased to say that we do have 4 local clients, 4 individuals that are between the ages of 18 and 21, I think it is, that have taken the orientation program and are now presently in the workplace within the community. There's been 4 different employers come forward. They're doing everything from construction to retail sales, and they're basically involved in areas where they have a vested interest in looking at their future. We're very pleased with the clients that have come forward, very energetic young individuals, and certainly looking forward to doing something with their careers at the end of the day. And that's the whole focus of this, is not just to gain the employment aspect, but it's certainly to look towards the future. And right now things appear to be moving along very good, and I know in my discussions with the Human Resources and Employment representatives that we deal with, they're very pleased with the progress of the program to date, albeit that we've been involved probably for about 3 weeks right now. So it looks very positive.
Good. The Tourism Committee.
Yeah, we've, I guess this last week, as you're well aware, we hosted the first annual tourism dinner. And of course we say first annual because we're hoping to make this a very annual event, and something that we can expand on, not only from a dinner, but possibly getting involved in maybe some workshops and other activities to kind of piggyback on that in the future. We felt that it was a major hurdle just to be able to put on the dinner. And I'd certainly like to thank the business community and residents of Burgeo who supported it. We had approximately 90 people attend the dinner last Friday night, and we were pleased to have representation from a number of circles. The Minister of Tourism, Culture, Recreation was there and spoke, and I thought that was a great opportunity for all of us to kind of network with the Minister. I know I had the opportunity to discuss a number of issues with him on Friday night, and that's a great forum to do it in. Our MHA, of course, Calvin Parsons was there and spoke, and again, it was an opportunity where you had certain people around the table that are involved in tourism and involved with the community, and there's no doubt about it. The mayor, in his presentation that night, basically said, either tourism, let's get on with it, or forget it. And I think it's a situation where now we have a local tourism committee. It became quite obvious at the end of the night that people were pumped up a little bit and starting to realize the potential benefits that this community can realize through the tourism sector. And of course, it's all new dollars that come in here, and the spin-offs could be tremendous at the end of the day. I would have to say that I have to acknowledge a number of people on the committee who literally took their time and effort out. Derek Mercer and Sonia Barter, as well as June Anderson, that took the whole day, and they were there with us and made sure everything ran very smooth. And I'd just like to acknowledge those people, because at the end of the day, you can't do it without the resources and the volunteers within the community. And I think we proved that we can put on a first class show and make it enjoyable for everybody, and certainly to the caterers. Harvey Biller and his wife did an exceptional job with the dinner that night as well. So we were really pleased how things went over, and like I say, in future we're looking at piggyback and doing other things to enhance tourism development in the community. And of course, related to that, we are looking at a number of initiatives right now to again move forward. The committee has a number of things on the plate that we're looking forward to trying to move to develop the tourism sector in this area.
It was a very enjoyable dinner. The yachting and the cruise ship study.
Yeah, we're in the final stages of that. As members of the community might realize, Fisher and Associates have been contracted to do that study for us. They finished doing their, if you want, review and assessment along the south coast, because it goes from really the Burin Peninsula right to Port aux Basques. We've decided that we needed to do the whole south coast and get a good picture for that. We're hoping that by the end of December now, that final report will be ready, and of course, as I mentioned previously, it is to be a working document. It's not just a study where somebody can say, oh, you did it, and it's all grandiose and it's pie in the sky. It's actually a document where we will want to take it down off the shelf and actually start implementing some of the recommendations and things that have been noted within that study. We feel that there's a major potential here in that market, and excuse the pun, but basically right now we're missing the boat on it because number one, we don't have the infrastructure, number two, we don't have the information to realize exactly what's happening in that sector in this region of the province. So we're very, very keen on trying to do something, and I feel that that study will certainly give us the basis to be able to move forward. It's not going to benefit every community along the coast, if you know what I mean. The yachting traffic and the cruise ships have certain communities or certain places that they're just going to highlight themselves. However, if we don't have the infrastructure in place, then everybody's going to miss out at the end of the day. But our next meeting with the consultant is scheduled for sometime around the middle of December, and then he's been instructed to provide us with the final document at the end of December, and then in January each zone along the coast will be able to take the portions required and then move that initiative forward. And I must say there is a number of people that have already approached me in terms of being interested in looking not only at the overall infrastructure development to cater to this sector, but potentially looking at viability of a seasonal business to cater to this on their own. So I'm very pleased from that perspective that just by having the opportunity to talk to you, it kind of ignites a little bit of imagination and the opportunity out there for individuals to say, maybe I can get involved in something of this nature. So we're looking forward to having that finished off and certainly trying to move some things forward with it early in the new year.
The yachting and cruising ship, like we already had one here, but there was some, I don't know if it was problems or confusion, but when they set up their cruise ship, do they have their, like say for example, if I wanted to go on a cruise ship now, do they have their agenda set up and you say, yes, we're visiting here, 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 and here? Like before that happens, how do Burgeo get involved in something like that?
Normally what happens with the cruise ships is yeah, they'll look at a package situation and they'll try and sell that package obviously to the traveling, public. And what our approach has always been is that we use what they call channel, which is it's an organization responsible to promote, it's a cruise ship authority in Newfoundland and Labrador. And basically what we have done is submitted all of our information and documentation to that organization and say, here's Burgeo, here's amenities and activities and things we have to offer, including, for example, the harbor tie-up and those types of things. So basically when somebody from a cruise ship phones, they will phone that provincial organization and say, look, we're interested in doing this type of cruise because they're based on different themes, type of thing, right? And of course then they'll start firing them off information, say here, and hopefully in that information Burgeo's included. And then when their people sit down to do up the packages, their marketing people, then they'll decide which communities they feel are most viable. And I know we had contact last year for a number of months before the cruise ship came in here. They were basically, we have your general information and then you just build on the information. And try and basically sell the community, saying, look, this is a good place to visit, and people will be interested, and we have amenities. So you can imagine there's over 200 communities along coastal Newfoundland, and most cruise ship visits normally run between maximum 10, 12 days. So that means how many stops can they make? So if you get on the circuit, it's great. Franceway has managed to do that in some ways just by their hospitality and the things that they put off when people come into Franceway, and I think we can build on that as well. I know the cruise ship we had here in June, again, the tourism committee played a major part in the hosting of that event, but we had calls for the next couple of weeks from individuals that were on it, as well as the operator, saying how pleased they were with what happened. And we had some internal problems. I mean, it was the first time we had a cruise ship.
Yeah, well, you expect that.
And those were logistics that we worked out, but the beauty is you work out your internal logistics, and the people that come in here to visit don't see that. You just continue on, and some things are not as you'd planned, but as long as they're not affected by it.
That's right.
Then everything goes smoothly.
Exactly.
So, and it's like anything else, the more you get involved and the more experience you are, then the more you can provide a good quality product.
Yeah, certainly. Our short-term projects.
Yeah, we have been working with a number of different organizations in the community. As people are probably well aware now, we had submitted and approved Aaron's Arm project. There was some, I won't say concerns, some problems with the environmental assessment that needed to get done. And unfortunately, it's a time of year that we felt it would not be advantageous to go ahead and try to do any work at Aaron's Arm. So I met with actually the crew that we had initially hired and explained to them the situation. HRDC has graciously agreed that they will continue to sponsor that project. However, we're going to wait till the spring of the year to implement it. So we'll still go ahead. It's just because of the timing of the year, we felt it wasn't advantageous to do it right now. And of course, the existing crew that we selected have been offered those positions if they're still around, available, and eligible. So they're well aware of it. And of course, we partnered with the Tourism Committee and the Museum Committee in relationship to the upgrading museum, and apparently that's going to proceed in the very near future, which we're pleased to see. We've talked about that initiative for a couple of years, and it was finally to the point where, well, either let's get on with it or forget it type of thing. And fortunately, we got sponsorship to do that. The town as well played a role because they provided some financial assistance to it. We're in the process right now of actually submitting a proposal for the rest area at the Burjo Junction. We want to put a kiosk facility there, an interpretation center, as well as a small play area and a picnic area, and basically try and have that facility manned during the summer months to try and enhance and promote tourism down along the southwest coast, as well as, of course, provide amenities. I mean, right now people go up there during the summer. We have a maintenance person that goes up every couple of weeks and cleans the grounds up and the lawns and that, but it's not enough. You know, and there's all kinds of stuff in the bushes and whatnot. So we want to provide washroom facilities, drinking water, small kitchenette, and of course an interpretation display area so people get to know the communities along the southwest coast, and hopefully entice them, if not this trip around, next trip around, to try and come down here. So we're excited about that one. The other thing is that when the minister was in for the tourism dinner last week, we discussed short-term funding. We put 4 proposals in the system to the provincial government, and at this point in time we have received approval for a substantial amount of dollars. It is considered emergency funding, and right now if people have seen the advertisement that we put on the paper or on the channel this past week, we have to follow certain criteria based on the provincial government's requirements. Obviously, one of the first things they're trying to do is make a certain segment of the population EI eligible, and take care of a certain segment of the population that has no income within the household whatsoever. And when we say no income whatsoever, that even includes pensions and unemployment insurance. If you have any of that within your household, then unfortunately you're not considered eligible at this point in time. There might be, we've done the survey, it's completed, and we are in discussions right now with the provincial government because we feel that we think they should broaden the criteria a little bit, because there's only a certain segment or a certain number of individuals that fit that criteria, and it looks like we will have some substantial dollars left over. And so we've made that request to the minister that they look at expanding the criteria so we can, at least if nothing else, open it up to make people with 420 hours or less eligible for the program, so they can become EI eligible, whether or not there's an income presently within their household or not. And then of course, if that happens, then what we'll do is follow we have our own hiring policy within the BDDB, and we'll follow that. And we want to activate this fairly soon. In regards to the proposals themselves, there's things that can be done irrespective of it's winter or not. And I won't get into it right now, but certainly there is a number of different initiatives we can enhance the community, and of course, get these people employed at the same time over that period. So we're hoping that if not by the first week, the second week of December, we can start the implementation of some of these short-term projects in the community.
Okay. No, of course, Christmas season is just around the corner. So will your office be closing down for any time? Yeah,
we met at our last meeting with the board. We evaluated where we were to and the things we're involved in, and of course, as everybody knows, in our situation, over Christmas it's a pretty difficult time to try and get things moving forward with people on holidays and whatnot. So it was agreed that actually from the 24th of December until the 1st of January inclusive, the office will be closed. And of course, in that 6-day period, there's 3 holidays anyhow. So we felt that, with the way things transpire over Christmas, we felt that it would be beneficial just to shut down the office, kind of take a deep breath and kind of relax over the Christmas season. And that's not to say we won't be around. I'll probably be in for a day or two just trying to wrap up some year-end things, but by and large the office will be closed during that period of time.
Okay, well, we certainly thank you very much for coming to join us again this morning.
It's been my pleasure as usual, and I thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Stay with us for Off the Rack, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
It takes community to heal a village. In northern Mali, USC Canada works with local partners to find community-based ways to ensure mother-child health, food security, and jobs. Canadian agencies are helping to renew and strengthen communities throughout the developing world. This means greater opportunities for global villagers. Canadians in partnership, finding solutions that work.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of this year's graduation class singing Happy Snowman during their Christmas concert. Let's look back to December 1995. BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Sand and Sea Festival TV Bingo. You could be the lucky winner of $500. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories, a craft, and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.